Hello everyone, my name is Professor Albert Nygren. I teach cinema studies at Rutgers University. I'm also the executive director and the curator of the New Jersey Film Festival. I founded the festival back in 1982, and we're celebrating our 42nd anniversary, so please come and join us. We'll be doing some wonderful programming between September 8th and October 8th in person at our state-of-the-art facility, which is Voorhees Hall, located on the College Avenue campus of Rutgers University at 71 Hamilton Street in New Brunswick, New Jersey. We're a hybrid festival, which means that we'll be doing online screenings as well of all of the movies, and you can check them out online for 24 hours on their show date. You want more information, you go to njfilmfest.com, click on current events, and then click the red button where it says Fall 2023 New Jersey Film Festival, and that'll send you to our Eventive website that has all the information about all the programs. We've been doing a number of filmmaker interviews, but today we have a very special guest. I'm a huge fan of the work of Tim Motzer, who's a very accomplished guitarist, musician, artist. He's a painter as well. And we're going to be doing a special one-time only, a concert of his music on September 15th on a Friday night at 7 p.m. Unfortunately, that's not being streamed, so you have to come in person and meet Tim. And welcome. I've been a huge fan for so many years. It's so wonderful to meet you.
Likewise, it's so great to be here.
So Tim, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you become a musician, and how does the art side come into play as well?
Wow, those are great questions, and they're kind of long stories, but I'll try to condense.
Sure.
A musical family. My mother was a singer growing up, as were my two older sisters, both singers. And my mom sang in big bands
Wow.
around the late 30s, early 40s. My sister's 60s, folk,
Wow.
R&B, loved the Beatles, record collections. I was deep in. There was pianos in the house, guitars in the house. So what's this? Who are the Beatles? That kind of thing. So that's what got me going in music. And then I found out about Jimi Hendrix along the line, and then it was over. How do you do that? Got my first guitar, and on and on. So it's that's how that started. As far as the art thing, I think simultaneously growing up as a little kid, coloring books, Crayola, coloring stuff, getting involved, and then later on in life, I had many friends who were artists and got to hang out in their studios, and I really was inspired by that. And I think they go hand in hand: the music studio, the art studio. There is a link, there's a lineage that ties that together for me. So I really enjoy that a lot.
Well, the way I found out about you is that I'm a huge progressive jazz fan, and I've been following a band called Brand X since their inception back in the 70s, and I got to see them a couple of times. They didn't do too much touring in the United States. And I was so overjoyed when they got back together again after they kind of mm, broke apart in the 70s, 80s. They came back together in the 90s. And then in I guess 2016, they did a reformation. And I got to see so many of their shows. And I got to meet Percy Jones, who's an amazing bass player. If anybody knows anything about bassists, they know Percy Jones. Because after Jaco Pastorius, you know Percy Jones as one of the quintessential fretless bass players.
Absolutely.
So I followed his career, and when Brand X reformed, I went to see all these shows, and one of the original drummers was Phil Collins, and then Woody Denard took over for him when he had preoccupations with Genesis. And Woody Denard was at the first showings of the reformed Brand X, and then he had other obligations because he was also a professor of music at the Berkeley School. And another drummer came on board, again, Kenny Grahowski.
Kenny, yeah.
And then Brand X fell apart again a few years ago. And so a new band came into existence called PACT,
Right.
P-A-K-T,
P-A-K-T.
which stands for Percy, Alex, and then we have
Kenny
and then
Grahowski.
Tim. So I fell in love with PACT because they became the new Brand X for me. And then I got in conversations with Tim, and he said, well, why don't I do a show at Rutgers? And I thought about it, and I said, well, we really do films. We don't really do music, but we had done a number of these things in the past. So here we are. I thought, let's bring Tim in. And so he's going to be doing a solo performance on September 15th. What are our audience going to see and hear?
Well, we don't know yet. I know you have some films,
Yeah.
and those are going to be running. And what I do when I play live is, I improvise really, but I kind of look at it as spontaneous composition. I don't know. I walk in without anything prepared,
Mm.
other than the electronic gear that I have and my guitars. So, that's my palette of sounds. It's all created with looping and a variety of pedals that are basically little pedals that have microprocessors in them, so that as I send the acoustic electric guitar through, it changes the sound, does micro looping, and all that builds into an orchestration.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting
I
music.
mean, you are kind of a one-man band. I mean, in many ways, because I've seen some of these performances and I have not seen them live. That's
Mm.
kind of why I wanted to bring you, purely for selfish reasons. I mean,
Good.
I think one of the benefits of being the director of a film festival, and you've been doing it for so long, you want to do things that make you happy too. So it was a no-brainer for me
Mm.
to invite you to do this. And there will also be, when you come to our show, you'll bring some hand-painted CDs.
Yeah, I'll bring a bunch of merch. I have a lot of hand-painted CDs. I do small editions of certain releases, and it's a great way to marry my art and music together and share that. And it's part of my personal practice, so I love doing that.
You've done work with bands,
Mm.
you've done work film scoring, so
Mhm.
that was definitely another connection. You've done work with dancers, and you do your own solo stuff. Which one do you prefer, or is it something that you like all of them?
I love all of them. I would say, though, however, for me, being in a multimedia experience is my most exciting area, especially since I work with dancers a lot and I
Mm.
compose or improvise with dancers and perform with them live. I love that.
Mm.
The in the moment thing and the interaction is so exciting.
Yeah,
So I love that.
that's wonderful. Well, thanks so much, Tim. Folks, you have to come and see Tim Motzer play live. That will be taking place again on Friday, September 15th. The live show's at 7 p.m. General admission is $15. It's cheap. So you come, you get to see some movies. You'll also get to hear Tim play, see him play. He hangs out at the end. He'll sign stuff for you. It should be a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. You want further information, go to njfilmfest.com, and hopefully we'll get to see you at the show. Thanks so much, Tim.
Thank you.